So don't talk too much. Make sure that you give her moments of silence. And if you ask her a question, give a really long pause. I don't know if we ever told you that story.
I have never heard this before.
But
Lähetystyön takahuone.
Tervetuloa kuuntelemaan Lähetystyön takahuonetta. In this time we are talking in not Finnish. Eli tämä jakso äänitetään englanniksi. We are recording this in English and I'm out of my comfort zone. Puhun siis tämmöistä ralli-englantia, mutta puhun sitä rohkeasti enkä välitä siitä. I'm talking it is a rally English and I don't mind it and hopefully everything goes okay. We have 3 guests like we normally do here and they are from Eastern Europe. They are working there. They're not originally from there. And we have Anu who is originally from Finland. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we have Amber. Welcome to the show. You are from USA. Which part you are from?
I'm from Wyoming. Thank you.
Then there is Daniel. Welcome.
Thank you.
And you are from?
The state of Illinois.
Yeah. Okay. We are talking about working together across cultures. Have you had some fun moment because across cultures have been crossing in your work?
I kind of think we could do the whole podcast hour about our fun accidents, what have happened. But yeah, I think like a lot of happens with languages as we're speaking I speak Finnish and then we speak English mostly as a team, but then we also use the local language and then like mixing all that. So there is a lot to understand. And then like my pronunciation is different. My accent is very like Finnish one. And so then like just came to my mind now, like one time I was talking something to Amber at our office about like this like, how would I say it, reusable menstrual pads. Like we were thinking how we could like get those and give to the ladies, to our clients. And then like Amber heard me saying bags and she's like, why do we want to give bags? Like lot of bags to like our like ladies, our clients. And yeah, so those kind of things happened like maybe not daily, but almost.
How about Amber?
I haven't had anything specific that's coming to mind right now like that, but I just think that it just is such an enriching experience because I love being able to celebrate Anu's holidays and then our local teammate too that is on maternity leave right now, just getting to always hear her perspectives on local ideas and things that would be different than ours coming from America. So I think more than anything, it's just been like an enriching experience. And then, yes, the occasional misunderstanding can be very funny. Also, like I don't remember it ever being something that, brought tension or anything frustrating, just more fun and enriching our lives.
Daniel, do you remember some specific fun moment?
I think in general, I really enjoy trying to speak Finnish with Anu, trying to learn a couple words here and there. I think she probably gets quite a kick out of my pronunciation of Finnish words, but I really appreciate her taking the time to do such a good job communicating with us in English. So try to reciprocate that in speaking Finnish with her. She could probably tell you maybe a fun Finnish word that I mispronounced if something comes to mind. But if not, I can certainly try on the podcast to say a couple Finnish words and humor the audience.
Well, what words do you remember?
Well, kiitos, of course, I think is a very important word. Moi, we've learned to say that when we're saying bye. Say moi moi. I tried to use the Duolingo application to learn Finnish. It did not teach me many words that were very useful. It kept teaching me kandele and Velhos, is that how you say wizard? And had a bunch of random, maybe cultural moments. But let's see. I also tried to learn, was it Sina Ole Mukava?
Well, kiitos.
Yes.
Hey, what kind of cultures you think you are carrying with you?
Well, one thing that comes to mind for me is we talk about this a lot. At least from Anu's perspective, Finnish people very much just speak directly in what they mean. And a lot of time Americans, we try to come across as, I don't know, I guess self-sacrificing or something, or just like it's really basically lying, I guess, because we're just we don't first say naturally our true opinion because we're trying to soften it or something. And so, she always has to say, no, when I say something, I mean it. And in our culture, we're learning the sad and hard way that a lot of times we say something that isn't our first true emotion. But it's so ingrained in us that I don't know, we try to say something maybe a little more self-sacrificing or something, but it's not truly how we feel. And we're learning that is a bad trait to have. So that's been something good to have pointed out to us.
And then also local people here, like I would say they are more like direct, they do say. But then also it's more complicated over here because then with the language and like all the like kind of like, are you reading between of the lines what the person really means? That might be also something that we don't really get. So we might still like understand it wrong way, even if someone is saying something directly, but then, but she maybe actually did not mean even that, even she said it. But yeah, so there is like mixing everything.
Yeah, with the honor shame culture here, that happens a lot too. Like very direct about certain things, but other things very beat around the bush, we say in English. So it is a difficult learning curve for us.
Anu's helped us learn how to be more honest with ourselves. I think like Amber's saying, the first 2 years, I don't know if Anu still fully trusts us sometimes that we're speaking the absolute truth because we like to sugarcoat it so much. But I think that's been a learning curve, is making sure that we're honest with her at all times, that we're direct. But yeah, I think she's joked with us plenty of times that are we, being truthful, or are we just saying what we think she wants us to hear? And there's been a lot of moments where we get to try to learn that transparency and honesty with her. And that's been really, really helpful from her Finnish side to be better truth tellers as Americans.
Where have you collected this kind of different cultures? Of course, where are you coming from? But have you realized being there that this kind of culture I picked from here and this here?
I would say like one example that we've been going through a lot lately is just even with health concerns. If we're not feeling well, sometimes as Americans, we're really pushed to still work it's a value to be tough and to just keep working through it. And Anu is great to have as our team leader because she'll just say, no, if you don't feel good, don't come. You don't need to come. You don't. And so I think for me, that's where that comes from. And then also just maybe Christian culture of trying to be people pleasers a little bit, or some of us have that stronger in us than others. And I'm guilty of that for sure. But I mean, it was such a freeing thing for me to have Anu as my team leader when, like, if I tell her I'm really not feeling well and I think I need to have a vacation or something or a day off soon. And she'll say, well, just don't come tomorrow. And I'll be like in shock. And I'll say, but we have this planned. And she said, that doesn't matter. Just don't come. And I'm like, just to have the freedom to do that it's been kind of shocking and healthy for me too.
And for that, I don't know if it comes really from like Finnish culture, but of course it comes like, I had like 15 years ago almost, I had really bad burnout. So in Finland, and I learned through that how important it is actually to like react early enough and not to push people to be like go like so far that then they will be like on a sick leave like next 6 months or something. So that's also something that I have just learned it to like, okay, we need to react immediately. And also because like, I don't know, it's just something that I see that it's more valuable to have like team that is feeling healthy and is like that we can function well because we are all doing well and not like we are just pushing and pushing and pushing ourselves. But I definitely do think that from my background there, like from my family comes definitely being like, okay, we are hard workers, we need to do a lot and we need to accomplish a lot, but then also like we need to listen how we're doing.
How important is it like finding common ground? Because there are different customs, values, like Amber said, it's important word, values, faith. So how important it's before like trying to find differences to find common ground and how it happens?
I think it's as a team, because we work and we share life a lot together, it's very important. And in our process, when we started this team, it was like me, Amber, and our local colleague Anja as starting this team, and then Daniel and his wife joined later. But then already we had kind of like all the like, okay, what are the important things for us? So then when I had the conversations with Daniel and his wife, like, okay, do you agree with these things that are important for us? What are we trying to do? What is our ministry? And can you like, do you think you can join to that? And then of course, like, yeah, the basic thing, like, of course we are sharing our faith together. And that's like, yeah, having like the same kind of things. Like we all think that prayer is really important. And we try to like really keep that in mind and in practice and those kind of things that's the most important thing also, not just for us individuals, but together as a team. And then just like we have been talking a lot, like just like, okay, how do I understand you guys better? Like, okay, how do I when do you feel that I really listen you, I really hear you? When do you get the feeling that others are understanding you? We have been talking a lot and we need to continue that kind of like all the time, because just like realizing that we come from so different backgrounds so that we could be on the same page all the time and having the foundation like there, and just like reminding also ourselves like, okay, are we still going on the same direction? And not like, oh, Daniel is going totally elsewhere and Amber is going somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of communication, lots of time spent in good, fun times and in hard times. And like, I think developing an unconditional positive regard for each other, and just assuming the best and knowing that none of us would do anything to hurt one another intentionally. It would just be a misunderstanding. And so trying to get like framework around that of like, okay, how did this breakdown happen? And then humility and having the humbleness to apologize and make something right, I think has been really key to build that trust and that level of just ability to share anything and to be kind of raw and not have to, really be careful with your words. And of course, be careful, to not hurt each other again intentionally, but just being able to just really share openly and honestly.
I think we do our best to try to find lots of areas of common ground. Like the Great British Baking Show, we watched a season together early on, and we all enjoyed salivating over those desserts together. Anu loves salmon, and so I think as a team, the culture has, the team culture We enjoy salmon a lot more together. We enjoy going to the sauna together every now and again, especially on Finnish Independence Day. And so just celebrating some of those things that are important to the other, I think has been big in our team. And Anu, of course, has done that with us as well, finding things to connect to us in our culture. But we definitely love the things about Finnish culture. So we're thankful for those and those on our team culture.
Yeah, and even how we choose holidays to take off. We share all of our holidays. So we'll take some Finnish holidays, some local holidays, and then some American holidays. And of course, a lot of those are in common as believers as well. But then there's those special holidays from each one of our cultures. So sometimes we may not get off for an American holiday or a Finnish holiday, but we will get off for a local holiday, and because we have a local working with us too. So it's nice to share those special dates with each other too, and share why they're special to us personally.
So it sounds like it's important to find the common ground also outside of work-related things.
Yeah, it might be really hard to understand if you have that experience that you have your work life and then you have your other life. But because our life, we only have one life over here, that we are sisters and brothers to each other. We are aunties for Daniel's kids, and because we are missing those people over here. We don't have those relatives and family members here. So then we are kind of like family, but then we are also colleagues. So we are working together, but we are also sharing a lot of other life together. So yeah, that makes it different.
And then also I found that when we lose our loved ones or good friends back in our home countries, even though we're so close here, we didn't have that same background with one another. So we don't share that same loved person in common, but just trying to really help each other grieve well, and asking questions about, what was special about your relationship with this person? And, what's your favorite memory or something like that helps us process our grief too together. And again, that builds relationship capital with one another and trust to go through those hard times as well as our good times together too.
How to find differences before they are problems? Or is it a stupid idea to find differences for each other? What do you think?
I don't think it's stupid at all. I think that's how getting to know each other well is a really effective way. But sometimes those things don't come up until the event occurs, that will maybe draw that characteristic out. But as much as we can, we do try to really ask each other good questions. Daniel's really good at asking good questions. I feel like we all are in our own way. So maybe we have our different strengths that we know how to ask each other questions and say, in your family, because also we have to realize that it's not just culture from the countries we come from or the country that we're in, but our own family cultures that we come from. Because my family culture is very different than what Katie's culture, Daniel's wife or Daniel himself, even though we're Americans. And so it helps to just be able to know that how do you process your anger? How do you process your fear? How do you process culture stress or whatever? That helps to talk about that.
And also I've been thinking that it's important to have different kind of personality tests. We have been my role is being a team leader, so I have been then asking okay, send me your strength finders results, and send me your Myers-Briggs personality test results, and then I'm kind of okay, and then what I see from there, then it's easier okay, maybe this is the topic that we should talk. Let's say that the Myers-Briggs test brings out something that how people are reacting to the stressful situations, and how important it is to understand that we are reacting different ways. One can be I'm the one who do not want to be alone when I'm stressed out. I want to be with people. I want to share that burden that I have. But then I may have teammate who is like totally like, I want to be alone. I need to process this by myself. So we need to understand that. And so then I think those things just have been really helpful and will be. We are working on those more and more. But yeah.
By the way, good that you said stressed out, because someone said that when you are stressed, that's the moment that this are issue. What do you think?
Definitely they are. Like, and everything, like we think like when we have as a team, like very stressful like situations and just like seasons that there is like a lot of happening, and then one gets sick and like then it's like a lot of, so then we are all like, oh, okay, why these things can't go, and then there is usually like more like kind of like space for like misunderstanding and everything and those kind of things. So yeah, it is important to also recognize and say aloud like, okay, I think this season where we are now living this week is very stressful, and just that we realize that all together also. And then it's more helpful like, okay, if I'm saying something like that Amber feels that I'm rude or something, okay, it's also coming from that we are living in this. And then she has freedom to say like, okay, that was hurting me what you said. And yeah, then there is always asking forgiveness and forgiving.
Daniel looked just like he wanted to say something.
Yeah, I agree with Anu. She hits it on the head. She does a good job. She's getting ready to talk about the Myers-Briggs that we're going to be doing as a team together. And I think if we can catch the conflict before it happens, hopefully that can mitigate the conversation, mitigate the argument, so that it could be healthy and not come from a season of stress, but be able to be ahead of it.
Yeah, and I think in our team we all are kind of similar, that we do not want to have conflict, and that might be also a problem, because I do think that when we have a conflict, we can always learn something from that. Okay, how do we go through this together? So, yeah.
By the way, one reason for conflict is something that you were already talking about. I think Amber started to talk about it, how it's in Finland it's more easier to stay straight things. Of course, even in Finland, it depends, are you coming from west side or east side Finland. Erin Meyer have been writing this book, Culture Map. He were talking about it, the topic also on one video, the language of negative feedback. And it's really interesting to us. Finnish people sometimes feels that if we have a line here are direct negative feedback, and on other side is direct indirect negative feedback. And it might feel that Finnish people are in here. On his line there is at least Russia and Netherlands and Germany, and we are quite close to there. And it sometimes feels that USA might be over there, but it's in the middle on her map. And Japan is on other side.
Yeah.
But what do you think, how to survive from this conflict, except talking? But when you talk when you're coming from direct negative feedback, talk again straight, and it can hurt.
They're good questions.
I think that if you can come from the baseline of humility, though, and really deep love for one another, like one of my favorite verses in the Bible is love one another deeply, for love covers a multitude of sins. I think that is like the foundation to build on. And we don't really have anybody on our team, as Anu said, who loves conflict. So we've never run into that where it's just somebody, that's so direct and so like in a hurtful way. Everybody's coming from, again, thinking everybody's we're all assuming the best of each other. And we have enough relationship capital built up, kind of like we say, like a relationship bank. We have enough good deposits in the bank account that if we have like a negative one come out, we still have a lot left. And so I think that's the key to our team's success, and just not assuming, not just thinking, oh, well, Daniel would just want to hurt me, because I know he would not. We have a lot of, for all of us, we have a lot of that emotional and just relationship and care deposits in our relationship bank. So, but yes, there's a book about humility. I can't remember the author, but it's the key. I mean, even if you look in Philippians 2, Jesus humbled himself, and that's what we have to do with each other, and to just come. And I think for me, even when I've been on other teams, one of the really effective ways to communicate, even for those of us who maybe have a little bit trouble being really direct, is to say, the story I'm telling myself is, blah, blah, blah. But that gives the other person the ability to correct the story that you're telling yourself and say, actually, no, I didn't mean that at all. I just was having a bad day, and I just, was venting. So I think that those types of things help. But yes, I do think conflict can be good, and you can really grow from it. For us, some of our biggest things that have really built our trust and everything with each other is we've had like some major health concerns this year, and just going through really trying times together and coming out on the other side knowing how much we love each other and how much we're there for each other. So yeah, all in 1 week, we had Daniel have to have gallbladder surgery here, which most people don't opt to have surgery here. They usually go to their home countries or a nearby country with better medical facilities. Anu had a perforated appendix, and so had to have emergency surgery. So they were in the same hospital on the same floor. And then that same week, our local teammate went into labor and had her baby. So the only two adults standing were Katie and myself. And so we've been through a different type of war together. So those things, I guess conflict seems small compared to those things too.
Yeah, we joke that if you want to know that your team leader loves you and supports you, she'll go have emergency surgery on the same floor as you, get there the day before, and wait for you to check on you after your surgery, because she's already in the hospital healing herself. So
yeah, because they don't allow guests, like visitors, coming to the hospital. So somehow you need to get yourself in there.
Yeah, because Katie and I would come every day with supplies and trying to visit, and they wouldn't let us visit. So
if we think about that line, like direct negative feedback and indirect, how easily is to like learn to speak more direct or more indirect?
I wouldn't say it's easy, but if we have will to do it, we can learn it. But it takes time. It really takes you need to put yourself in a situation that, okay, I'm learning. I don't know how this works, why this other person is communicating in a very different way, why it's really hard to understand, why she's doing that. And yeah, but if we're willing to learn, we will learn. And it's not like that we will get ready on some points, but if we are willing to be open, learning every day, we will.
And I think the biggest thing is having that safety with one another to do that and to exercise that, because that's why I think, for me, I think that's why I have become even more, for a time, careful about my communication, because I have tried to be very direct with other teams or whatever, or other times with other people. And then if you get shot down enough times, or maybe experience isolation as a result, you are scared to be that bold and direct. And so that's what I say about relationship capital and all that. It's because of that trust and that safety where you know that person's like still going to unconditionally love you and respect you and hear you, even if you might maybe accidentally hurt them a little bit in that communication.
Yeah. It's hard putting yourself out there time and time again, meeting new people, trusting that you can build those relationships with a new person, with a new teammate, with another person. But to be able to trust that they'll have your best interest in mind and think the best of you. And as someone that's probably more indirect in my communication, whereas my wife is maybe a little bit more direct, trusting that I can say something and be honest and that they'll take it at face value and not read behind it that there's some kind of ill intention being stated or something.
Sounds like when you're working together across cultures, one thing that is important is know yourself.
I agree.
Yeah, it's I think it's kind of like the key for then knowing others in your team, because how can you share about yourself like if you don't know yourself? Like, yeah, if I can share with my team like, okay, what things are important for me, like what kind of gifts I have, like in the beginning when we don't know each other so well yet, it's like so important to share these things so we can get to know each other and really learn, okay, this person values her own time once a day, an hour, whatever, and or someone values more like some like sport activities. Someone really values the time with people, talking, listening. Yeah, we are very different. So if we know how we are, who we are, then we can share that and learn to know each other.
I think that was one of the biggest surprises for me coming to the field as an American too, is that sometimes there was a bit of a stigma if you went to counseling or, that you must have had a really big problem, maybe at least at that time. But when I came to the field, I remember going to a women's event and they had a counselor available. And I noticed that about all of the workers, the women were just, those counselors were almost filled like immediately because all of the women were like, oh, please sign me up, and so in knowing yourself, I think that's another thing, that having a good Christian counselor that helps you to do that is not a shameful thing. It's a good thing that will actually help your team too, if you do take the time to really know yourself and figure your little idiosyncrasies out. So you can share share with your team about the way you process things and who you are. And like for me, sometimes I'm a type of person that I care about everyone else's feelings and I don't really process my own right away. And so I had to learn to, and I'm still a work in progress, learning to really tap into how I'm truly feeling about it instead of how everyone else is feeling. So those are things that we have to know about ourselves too.
So before you jump in your own shoes, you are jumping on other one's shoes.
A lot of times, yeah.
That is also an important thing, right?
Yeah, because then we others can also react to that. We can then stop Amber. Okay, but how are you feeling? And not just do not think like others right now. Think how you feel at this situation.
One key word for this might be also being present. But if we think about different cultures, being present can be so different thing. For Finnish people, we might be present with my friend and we are sitting next to each other and we are quiet and we are present. But with some American friend or English friend, it's always talking. How you survive from this?
One thought that comes to mind, whenever Katie and I first arrived here, we went on a team retreat within 2 months of getting here. And I remember we gave Anu a ride back from the team retreat. And before we gave her the ride back, Kat set us down and she said, okay, now it's very important that you realize that Anu might need some quiet in the car. So don't talk too much. Make sure that you give her moments of silence. And if you ask her a question, give a really long pause, or, she was kind of coaching us on how to have this car ride back with Anu. I don't know if we ever told you that story.
I have never heard this before.
But I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is a really, different thing. And I'm glad that Kat brought it up because it gave me a chance to think about the difference. If I hadn't realized that was going to be a thing, maybe I would have just, talked nonstop to Anu the entire time. And Katie ended up falling asleep on that car ride back. I don't know if you remember. And so it was just you and me. And there was moments where I intentionally thought to myself, okay, be a little extra quiet, Daniel. Learn this Finnish thing if it's possible for you on this car ride. So yeah, if Kat had never given us that conversation, maybe there would have been some conflict that would have came out of it, because I probably could have exhausted Anu with hours and hours of talking. But it was a good car ride, and it was a good experience to try to practice that difference. And yeah, so the whole silence thing is interesting. My family is not a quiet family. If there's no talking going on, then there's a problem. Someone's mad at somebody, or there's some tension, or someone's stressed or frustrated. So definitely something to learn from Finnish culture is these moments of silence. And it's really special. I enjoy it.
Yeah, they're learning that to do that little by little. Yeah. So Kat, who Daniel mentioned, is our area leader, and she knows all of us like on some level. So she has been helping a little bit. And yeah, I think one thing related to that is that we are our communication styles are very, very different. And when I arrived here beginning of 2020, I shared this that I actually learned in Finland from one dear friend that was telling this, like, okay, we have different communication styles. Like, American people are usually like the rugby players. They are like all jumping in, and like everyone is like trying to do their like best, and they don't care if they get like hit it or something. And then like British people are like tennis players, and then they are just like it goes like, okay, now it's my turn, now it's your turn, my turn, your turn, and it's very simple. But then Finnish people are polling all the time, like, now it's my turn. Okay, everyone else, you be now quiet because it's my turn. I will take the poll. You are all watching me, and I will now do my thing with the polling poll. And then like when I'm done, then it's next one's turn. So just to like kind of like realize that also, like in the beginning, it was really hard for me to like get ever like chance to say anything, because like there were like several Americans on that time, and I was just waiting my turn when to say something. And yeah, so yeah, that's also something that we have been learning from each other. Like kind of like my teammates like have been learning to like give the space, but I have also been learning like being more rugby player, maybe tennis player more, but yeah.
This sounds like stereotypes also. Is it strength to know stereotypes, or is it blocking something?
I think it's good to know the stereotypes and like yeah, what do we value like in our different cultures, and what are the styles, but then also always remember that we still are individuals, and like, okay, maybe my family is like very talkative, and that's affecting that I may sound more like, okay, I'm also talking all the time or something. Or I may come from the family where like, oh, there is like a lot of like silence, or like there is space to like say, and those kind of course, they always affect. And also the not just like our family background, but also the background, like our like experiences earlier. If we have been in a teams, like did we have space to say anything, or what was our role kind of like in that team? And then we think like local culture, like how like, because we were talking about like being present, and like how like being present for locals really is like, okay, you are then sitting there with one coffee cup like 2 to 3 hours, and that's being like present and with the person, and like how they value that. And it's very like stereotype, but still I think it's like it's good to like realize that, okay, that is the stereotype, but it's still part of this culture, and it's very important that we are not like doing our like Western style, like, oh, okay, I have the meeting in 5 minutes, I need to run now. No, the people are more important, and the being present for them is more important than the schedules.
I think you can learn a lot about a culture by the way they drink a cup of coffee. So we try to drink coffee together as a team so we can learn about how Finnish and Americans drink coffee, and then we try to drink coffees with locals to see how they treat relationships as well. There's been a lot I think we can say we've learned from that.
Yeah. And I mean, here, even, I think what you're saying about stereotypes, I think it's okay to know that, just to know that just to acknowledge that there is a difference, but then to like remain open-minded enough to know that people are individuals and they can't, don't put everybody in a box. But here, for instance, what they're saying about coffee is so true. And then if you're in a home doing like a Bible study or something with somebody, you have to be prepared that the TV is on the entire time. Oh. So you're competing with the television and trying to converse. And sometimes even what's on TV is not going to be appropriate because it'll be some MTV type channel. I don't know what I assume you guys know what MTV is, but it'll have, people that aren't dressed really appropriately and things like that going while you're trying to have a Bible study, which is a big challenge. And so there's a lot of nuance that we could go into with all the different things that we're having to deal with culturally.
Hey, fun that you came up with the drinking coffee, because here's my Swedish word.
Okay.
Does Anu know already what I'm looking for? It's fika. Do you know?
Daniel knows.
Yeah, I've heard of fika.
Fika. Great. Can you explain it?
Oh, no, probably not fully. I want to hear your definition. I'm sure it's...
Well, I'm really bad with that, but shortly, it's a coffee time, and it's just break from something, and you can go take your time for coffee and also eat something good with it. And but how about you, Daniel? What do you think? What kind of fika Finnish people have? What you have noticed from Finnish people?
Yeah, the things that Finnish people enjoy doing. And
no, about coffee. What's when you have coffee? Do they talk also work, or is it just now we have coffee?
Yeah, good question. I'm trying to think of how Anu has drank her coffee. Definitely more relationally than Americans typically do, I would say. I don't know. What do you think, Amber?
Well, I guess what brought to my mind was that Anu, when she became our team leader, she instituted a team breakfast. So we really love that tradition because we're able to just come together, and it's not just about work and planning. It's about how are we truly doing. So we share about how each person is doing, not just from the work standpoint, but from every standpoint. So from that, I would say she can definitely go with, the fika type mentality. And then there's also, I've seen both. I've seen both sides where it's also on the go, coffee on the go, and do it while you're working. But I've definitely seen that mentality from her as well. And we actually have a local word that I wish I could share with you that shares that same thought, where you just really enjoy you sit and enjoy and take your time and not rush through your coffee. So I see it from a lot of different angles here on our multicultural team.
Anu, what do you think when you're having lunchtime with your team members from America? Can you talk about work? Is it okay?
Yeah, it is okay to talk about the work. Yeah, especially if we are like having that we are not like going to some place to eat the lunch, but especially if we are just like eating and we all like bring our own like lunch to the office, or we order something to the office and then we just eat. So then it's usually just like, okay, I'm eating my salad here and we're talking at the same time, like planning something or talking about some details about some stuff. But it might be also then like going to some like fun stuff, like we're talking, but yeah, it's totally fine to talk about work stuff too. But I do think that it is different if we go somewhere like restaurant over here, it's very cheap to eat out here. So if we go and eat out, then it's more like, okay, we are taking that like specific time for that. So maybe we are not talking so much about the work stuff.
What has been 3 or something, you can say even 100 if you feel that, most important thing that you have learned working together across cultures, or that has changed yourself?
I can start. So first thing that came to my mind is just the stereotype picture, what we have, what I had about American people. And because like I really didn't know, I didn't have like close friends from States beforehand. And so then my teammates are now the first like people that I have like deeper relationship. So then it's like the stereotype is that, okay, we're just like talking like kind of like the shallow stuff, like, oh, how are you doing? I'm fine, thanks. And like that level. But I have learned that, okay, but then we take a few minutes and then we go deeper. And yeah, so that has been something that has been really, really amazing to learn, that no, that's not like that. Americans are just like, everything is always so amazing and fine and nothing, like, no, they are like normal people with like normal problems, highs and lows. And yeah, the communication is a little bit different and we need to wait a little bit more to like get there like deeper and not like immediately get the like answer that, oh, I have such a bad day today. But yeah, so that has been really, really good for me to learn and get out of those stereotypes. And what else was in my mind?
Well, while you are thinking, maybe Daniel can say.
Yeah, definitely learning to be more direct, more clear, more honest, more trusting, that I can speak directly and there not be fallout, that there not be disappointment. I'm trying to think of other things. The big things come to mind is I just love salmon a lot more. I love going to the sauna a lot more. There's just so many things about Finnish culture and about Anu's favorite things that I enjoy. So yeah, I think just learning to delight in someone else's culture and their favorite things is something I would say is important, which I think goes across the board in general, is just care about what other people care about, whether it's places, things to do, people in their lives. You know, be ready to listen to what they want to share about and what's on their mind and on their hearts. I still want to visit Finland. The rest of the team has gotten to visit Finland, so I'm a little jealous.
You're welcome.
Got to go there yet, but yes, soon. Yeah.
But did you know that in sauna, Finnish people can be more open and straight?
Yes, I have heard that. That's the, yeah.
We'll send him to your place, Jurvis, and you will host Daniel. Take him to the sauna.
Yeah, we can listen some Finnish music because I have speakers in my sauna, or
yes.
Our sauna. Amber.
I would say similarly, to be able to share openly and not sugar-coated or whatever you want to say. I think just having our multicultural team, knowing that you can find your best friends from all over the world. It's going to get me emotional, but yeah, because I would definitely say that this team, Anu and Anya, our local, they have been some of my best friends, as well as Katie and Daniel. And your life can just really be enriched. And for me personally, I've always loved people from other countries too and been very open. But yeah, I would say that those character lessons have been really good in pointing out things in me that I didn't really realize were maybe like an issue with that, about kind of sugarcoating things. And I don't know, I've just thoroughly enjoyed being part of a multicultural team.
One thing that came to mind on my mind, what you said, how important, and you could even emotionally about that, meeting people across cultures and getting know them. You understand better their culture, but you understand also yourself in that way. And that's an amazing thing, at least for me.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's also something that then helps us to, I would say, understand, or at least being more and more open to the local culture, because we are the foreigners. And we okay, if I think that I would be here working only with that I would have Finnish people only in my team. And okay, maybe communication would be easier or something. I don't know. But then I think this is putting us to the situation where we can't take things for granted. That we need to understand, oh yeah, I'm thinking differently than you are. And then it's putting us to more and more think and asking our local team member, okay, but how do you see this? How do you think in this culture about this thing? And it's because I think if I would be only in working with Finnish people in a team, I would be more thinking from the Finnish perspective. So that has been really helpful.
One thing I've noticed from having other Finns come and try to help us too, or even meeting them in other countries at conferences, is right away, almost everybody says, how can we help your team? How can we come and give you a training? How can we? And I mean, I literally just have to stop and think, I don't know, because I don't know what you have to offer, but I just love that about the Finnish culture, that everybody's willing to offer whatever they can, whatever knowledge they have to better equip us. Even with you having a session with us on how to do podcasting, so I really appreciate that, characteristic that I kind of have seen across the board with other Finns too. So
I think one thing, especially when you meet some people first time, sometimes it might get even longer if your cultures are, if you think again that line, that you are on other side of the line. It might be that you are scared the cultural conflict. What do you think? How to avoid that? And I don't mean how to avoid the conflict, but how to avoid being scared. Or do you need to be scared?
It's good to be scared. Yeah, I think it's healthy to be scared. It's healthy to be apprehensive. But something that helps me, I think, get over fear that I have oftentimes is that realizing other people are afraid as well. So if I see someone that, I think I could, have a relationship with that person. Maybe we have this thing in common, and that person could be someone that could be a really good ministry contact or a really good person to reach out to because they have a sphere of influence that I see them being a leader in a certain capacity. Something that helps me get over the fear of meeting that person is remembering that they're probably afraid as well, and that it's also awkward for them to break that ice. And so I think just the willingness to be awkward first helps me get over some fears.
I think the ability to ask questions, the ability to come in, like what we hear a lot, to come in as a learner, even in relationally with other people, and asking those good questions and just showing yourself to be a safe place and a person who doesn't come in and say, my culture's better, I know more, I'm this, I'm that. I know that I have a whole lot more to offer you than you have to offer me, and just kind of leveling the playing field and just speaking from the heart. And when people they know that when you love them, like with Christ's love, and then hopefully if they're reciprocating, like you can't go wrong, if you just really truly try to get to know about each other.
Yeah, all the Finnish, I can say that 5 hours in car isn't always right way to be in silence. You can also talk, at least open the radio. Hey, thank you, Amber, thank you, Daniel, and thank you, Anu. Anu's letter you can order from kansanlähetys.fi. It's in Finnish, but if you're English talking or Swedish talking, you can use Google Translate. But thank you, Amber, Anu, and Daniel. I hope we'll meet someday in Finland and we'll have a good sauna time then. Usually
and coffee.
And coffee, yeah. In Finland, there is usually quite not so good coffee, but I can make some espresso at home.
But there is good Finnish chocolate.
If you like that kind of chocolate, it's good, yeah. That's right. Hey, thank you very much. Next time we'll have again in Finnish episode and no rally English anymore. This was rally English time, but the next time Finnish. Hei, thank you and hyvää päivänjatkoa ja kiitos. Minä olen Mika Järvinen ja sanon moi moi.